In 2000, the African Union, in its constitutive act, said peace and security is one of our priorities. 2 years later, they created the APSA, the African Peace and Security Architecture. The year later, 2003, at the first EU-Africa summit in Maputo, we built this very close partnership. And immediately in the fourth year, in 2004, we came up with the African Peace Facility. The APF was an innovative instrument which we created precisely to support the African Union efforts to deal with the challenges of peace and security on their continent. What does it do? First of all, the EU wants to support the preventive actions. That's why we have the early response mechanism. Under the ERM, we can react within 10 days upon receive a request. Look at what we're supporting South Sudan or the support we're giving to the mediation efforts in Burundi. Secondly, we wanted to be there to support the African forces when indeed they need to intervene. Second pillar, peace support operations. 3, the African Peace Security Architecture has people, has to be manned, so there was an effort for capacity building that was needed.
The APF has now been in existence for 13 years, and we are very pleased to say it has had a major impact in terms of supporting capacity building as well as in our peace support operations that we have on the continent. Of course, the peace and security architecture needs to be operationalized. So from the moment it was conceived, we have worked very closely with the European Union as our partners, and we have actually rolled out the implementation and operationalization of the African Peace and Security Architecture.
We really believe that investing in peace and security on the African continent is investing in our own security.
In the minds of European leaders is that our security is so much intertwined with security on the African continent. Migration, terrorism are clear expressions of that. So we need to invest in the African continent for our own security. We have the African Union, which is a strong political partner who has gained the legitimacy of the continent to talk about peace and security, together with the regional organizations. But we also see the UN, peacekeeping missions, political activities. And there's a strong desire for triangular cooperation and deepening cooperation between the AU, EU and the United Nations.
C'est un instrument qui a permis de structurer les relations entre l'Afrique et l'Union européenne sur les questions de paix et sécurité. Et derrière cet instrument, il y a une logique qui est très bien mise en avant, c'est la logique d'appropriation par rapport aux solutions africaines qui doivent venir en appoint des problèmes africains. Mais je pense que l'expérience aussi a montré qu'il y a eu quelques défis. Et les défis, il faut les résumer en un seul mot. C'est comment on assure l'application du principe de subsidiarité lorsque une crise intervient dans une ou dans une autre région. C'est ça le défi. Parce que sur ces questions, il faut absolument qu'on évolue beaucoup plus vers le renforcement de cette collaboration. Elle existe déjà, elle existe déjà quand vous prenez les bureaux de liaison que l'Union africaine a au niveau de nos régions. Ça permet de structurer ce dialogue entre le niveau continental, le niveau régional sur les questions de paix et sécurité.
And beyond that, of course, there's our development support, our budget support for those countries. There are challenges, of course. Financial sustainability. AU is set to finance and to contribute more to its own peace fund. That's the Kaberuka plan.
It is time, for reasons of ownership, for reasons of seriousness, that African countries contribute themselves more than they already do today to support this African peace and security architecture. There is the idea of the creation of a peace fund financed through a levy to be levied by the African Union states themselves, and we are very supportive of that initiative.
Well, talking about civil society, I think there is a greater role to be played, certainly in the domains of mediation, support to mediation, also possibly monitoring, but then also think about the whole issue of knowledge generation, also informing dialogue between the African Union and also the African Union member states. Think about the importance of having well-informed debates, for example, generated through universities or think tanks. And it's a very particular type of work that requires also resources, but also sources that are within Africa.
Looking in the future, then I would basically say the APF and what it supports and where we see how now the vast bulk of the money goes to peace support operations, a limited amount goes to early response mechanism and prevention, I would like in 10 years' time to see those percentages turned upside down. Less for peace support operations and more for prevention. I think that that really would be the proof of the success of our support to what ultimately is indeed the African Union agenda. They have set a very ambitious target, silencing the guns by 2020.